Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So while I was out, I decided to visit my local Walmart store. This was after I came from the movie theater because I saw the recent Darren Aronofsky movie, Caught Stealing, that's starring Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz. So it's a good movie. I recommend you guys check that out. But anyway, so I visited Walmart because I wanted to browse in the electronics section where they carry like the Blu-rays, the DVDs, and all that stuff. And I noticed that with that section, it keeps shrinking, and I'm wondering like what's happening. And I feel like it's been like this probably for the past year. I would say so. I think for quite some time I wanted to make this video, but I keep forgetting and all this stuff. And with my recent trip to Walmart, I figure, you know what, I'll make a video right now on this. So yeah, I'm just wondering what's going on with Walmart. Like, are they planning to phase out their physical media stuff, or is this like a store by store issue essentially? Because I remember like the past 2 months, I visited other Walmart locations in Ottawa, and I noticed a similar thing where the physical media section keeps shrinking, like it keeps getting smaller and smaller. So I tried to do like research on this to see, I don't know if Walmart put out some sort of memo or statement on physical media, and I couldn't really find anything. But I did stumble upon this Reddit post that was made a couple months ago. So I'll just share my screen. This was posted 7 months ago on the 4K Blu-ray subreddit. So, person writes here, just was in Walmart and they're putting all physical media into boxes. Asked what was up, and they said they will no longer be selling any physical media, not even new releases. Now, when I did visit Walmart recently, where close, not far from where I am, I did see new releases there. So I'm not sure like what this person is talking about in terms of not putting out new releases. Maybe that's for the location that person is, but at least from what I've seen, they're still carrying out new releases, but I'm not sure. So it goes on to say, sad times. Where are we supposed to buy physical media now? London Drugs, Walmart, Best Buy, everyone has stopped. Do studios just want to stop selling physical media altogether to force everyone to subscribe to a service to view their content? Now, I don't know if studios want to stop selling physical, because yeah, I've not seen any evidence of that, so I can't really comment on that aspect. But yeah, it just seems like now these days, the options to purchase physical media, at least in person, are getting very limited because I think what was it last either it was either earlier this year or last year, Best Buy decided to stop carrying the physical media in their stores. And I know like we have like HMV was brought back through Toys R Us, but that section is quite small. At least like with the Toys R Us that I visited, like it's not that big with that section. But at least like it's there. But yeah, like you're just wondering like why is Walmart doing this, assuming this is true. So let's see what they say here. Was one person says it's getting more and more difficult for us Canadians. Places of the top of my head are Sunrise Records, FYE, and HMV in Toys R Us. Now I believe, yeah, as they mentioned, it's all owned by the same person. Mentioned Vinegar Syndrome has a store in Toronto, but I don't think they carry anything else besides their own label. I'm not sure if there are any physical retailers in Western Canada. But yeah, it seems like it's a lot of what boutique stores essentially. So I don't know. I don't know because I wonder though, like if Walmart is phasing this stuff out, maybe because they're not selling well, or they just don't want to carry these stuff in their stores anymore. It's unclear at this point because you figured that because when I did the video over a year ago where I talked about how when Oppenheimer when that came out first on the 4K Blu-ray, if I thought that it would have revitalized like the notion to buy physical media because of Christopher Nolan always makes the point to say that we have to own the Blu-rays and all that stuff because you want to like own it physically, like for one, plus two the quality is better and all that stuff in comparison to streaming. So yeah, I just don't know like what's happening here essentially. I do want to find out because I found a comment here where the person listed the options where you could buy a physical media. So outside of like online stuff like eBay, Amazon, so you have what Sunrise Records, Toys R Us. There's a couple small stores they mention here. Since I'm in Ottawa, I guess they have movies and stuff. I never heard of the store, but it seems like most options are in Toronto or like Vancouver and all that stuff. But yeah, just very limited options for physical media. And I found like this blog post someone made here where it talks about why it's getting hard to buy a Blu-ray. Um, so the person talks about how like they're excited with Dune Part Two coming out on Blu-ray and all that stuff, and essentially mentioned that it was quite hard to find because it wasn't on Best Buy, and I think Walmart, you know, wasn't available. Seems like it because I guess the person's based in Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. But but yeah, mentioned that that yeah they're based in Canada. It could be because Canada's a smaller market, or they're suggesting. He said maybe Americans will chime in and tell me physical media is still easily available down there, but from what I've gleaned from Reddit, I suspect that's not the case. And then mentions another experience where we're trying to find something, and then talks about how streaming essentially crushed physical media. Because essentially, like what the purpose of streaming was to make things more convenient and all that stuff. But obviously, once everyone got into the space, things changed essentially. Um, Saying now streaming services seem to be in the race to see who can hike their prices fastest, even as they try to get more subscribers watching ads and crack down on anyone using their parents' Netflix account or sharing their Disney Plus with a friend. Yada 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 yada. At the same time as streaming companies show exactly why physical media is so important, it's precisely the success of streaming that's causing physical media to become so hard to find. 2005, DVD sales peaked at 16.3 billion in the US, while Blu-ray sales hit their peak at 2013 at 2.37 billion. Last year, both formats sold 1.5 billion combined, a drop of 25% from the previous year, and a much bigger one from their peak. That will only be made worse as they become more difficult to track down. Talks about other services shutting down their DVD stuff. Um, Mentions with Disney Movie Club shutting down. Mentions that streaming companies and tech companies more broadly have shown that they can't be trusted. They'll rip our culture out of our hands if it'll please their shareholders, because at the end of the day, all that really matters is the quarterly earnings and the share price. You can't depend on streaming libraries, and buying digital versions aren't a solution either because you don't even own them. Because I guess when you buy what a digital version of a movie, apparently it's only a license, which is nuts because you assume that you actually own it. Nope, it turns out to be a license essentially. And yeah, it goes on from there saying, yeah, he's gonna go back to physical media, like good for him and all that stuff. But yeah, I think because with what's happening, of course, with streaming and all that stuff, and of course, how essentially you don't really own stuff, and with streaming these days, it's uncertain, like if you'll be able to find whatever title you're looking for, essentially. At least with physical media guarantees that you actually own the stuff, essentially. So and I do want to point out that at least even though there's not much options in terms of buying stuff in store, at least you have options online such as Criterion Collection. Speaking of which, they're going to be having a Criterion Closet when TIFF has their festival that's starting later this week. So if you're in Toronto, you guys could check out the Criterion Closet because I'm sure it is going to be packed without one because of the popularity of those videos and those events, essentially. Who else too? You have Arrow, um, Vinegar Syndrome, and I'm sure there's many other options online, essentially where you could purchase physical media, even though it seems like most of them these days are online. So there's that essentially. So I want to know, what do you guys think about all this stuff? Because do you believe Walmart is phasing out the physical media section? How about like our options here in Canada? Do you think it's going to get worse, or do you think there's going to be improvement on all this stuff? Let me know in the comment section. So also too, you could, if you want to support me, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Malloy, where you could donate and also to look at exclusive posts there. Also too, I have my community tab on YouTube, so feel free to check that out, and you could post stuff there as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you on the next one.